What's going on, everybody? Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis coming to you on this beautiful Wednesday in downtown Fayetteville with the second episode of the Natty State Six Pack. If you're tired of hearing about the struggles of the Razorbacks, give us a listen on these shows. That'll hit your YouTube and podcast feeds every Monday, Wednesday, Friday around that lunchtime hour is what we're looking for, where we come at you with a six-pack of random topics that have kind of caught our attention or maybe that you have suggested to us. So please throw in a comment, slide in those DMs, and hit us with anything. The weirder, the better. We're looking for that. We're going to have some video elements added to this here soon. We also plan on maybe going live with this. Maybe we'll give that a shot on Friday. We'll see. But we can see what kind of craziness gets thrown in the chat. So we're looking forward to that. Andrew, I enjoy these, man. Like, I really look forward to these. It's a change of pace, good vibes. Before we get rolling, how you feeling today, brother?
I feel great. I was just thinking while you were saying that about how we almost named this the Natty State lunch break. I wonder, who knows? Maybe if y'all aren't feeling this, maybe we'll switch to that. But I'm really excited. And we were talking earlier about the structure of how we want to do this. Wednesday is going to be kind of our day. You mentioned Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, you're recapping the weekend. Friday, you're previewing the weekend. Wednesday is your day we get to mess around. Arkansas plays tonight. If you came here to hear about Arkansas Ole Miss, you're not going to hear a ton about it.
In fact, you're
probably not going to hear much at all about it. But we've got plenty of coverage on that stuff. But today, Wednesday's our day we really get to cook.
Yeah.
We get to get weird. And that's what we're about to do here. We're about to get weird.
I love it. Well, let's get right into it, man. The six-pack, leading it off. What the Bucks?
What the buck, man?
Okay. Andrew, I need you to make sense of this for me because you're like our resident NBA guy here. The Milwaukee Bucks, they're 30-13. They got Giannis. They got Dame. They got a strong supporting cast. I think they're a legitimate title contender. They fired first-year head coach Adrian Griffin yesterday, not even at the All-Star break. So I ask you, why, though?
I really don't know. I mean, in the NBA, the answer is almost always because a star player said so. That's almost always the answer. Oh, wait, why is that guy leaving? A star player, when the star players do what they want to do in the NBA, the teams have really no power or leverage, And so we've seen it happen so many times where guys will have like 3 years left on their contract and they're like, I'm sitting out. And the NBA teams just let them do it. And so when you have a superstar-driven league, stuff like this happens. Now, Curtis, the one good argument you could make here, the last time something like this happened was that 16-17 season with the Cleveland Cavaliers, or 15-16 season, where they fired David Blatt. I looked it up, Curtis. We were talking about it yesterday. So the Bucks are 30-13 right now. David Blatt was 30-11 as the head coach. Now, also, he had coached the year before, so it's a little bit different. It's not an exact situation, but they were 30-11 when they fired their coach and then went on to win the title that year. So who knows? Maybe history repeats itself. Maybe the Bucks win a title. And what's funny is, like, they're going to be in the mix. I mean, they're number 2 in the Eastern Conference right now, firmly going to have home court advantage, one of the best teams in the league. I mean, you have Giannis, who's a generational talent. I feel comfortable saying that. I know you and Scotty like to call him bagless.
There's some truth to that.
Speaking of Scotty, so Scotty is another huge NBA fan, huge Suns fan. I had great pleasure in being able to report the news to him when he got back from the bathroom yesterday. I was like, hey, the Bucks fired their coach, and like seeing him make the realization that I was talking about the Milwaukee Bucks, the 30-13 Bucks. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And Giannis is the guy I kind of want to hear from here because Giannis, I love Giannis, great player, seems like a great person. Like I said, I'm assuming he had something to do with this. Damian Lillard is another interesting factor here because he's been traded to the Bucks recently. I'm assuming both of those guys had a say in this call. So I would love to hear from both of them and at least hear them squirm and have to navigate and be like, oh, no, we didn't get him fired. We just talked to the GM and president and maybe hinted, because I'm assuming something like that happened. Or we have a, Ime Udoka situation where he may have been being creepy behind scenes. Who knows? That kind of stuff happens in the NBA. I'm a Rockets fan. My current head coach is a horny guy, so I have to be aware of these kind of these situations. These things happen. But yeah, the NBA in what coaches keep their job and what coaches get fired. We heard yesterday that Doc Rivers was one of the guys rumored to be in the front. We kind of both rolled our eyes at that. What did you make of this whole thing?
It's ridiculous. And so I immediately thought, like, okay, like you said, this might be an Udoka situation, like something crazy's happening behind the scenes. But everything I've read and looked at, and I took a long time to research this because I didn't want to miss anything. But none of that has been the culprit, it seems like. And I've heard a lot of people saying, well, they're just trying to get out ahead of it because the Bucks, they're really struggling defensively. Bullshit. Like, I'm not buying that. Okay, like, if you're wondering why you're struggling defensively, then I wonder why you got rid of Drew Holiday to bring in Dame Lillard. Yeah. Like, as soon as you did that, you knew exactly what you were getting yourself into. You're bringing an elite offensive player, and you're sacrificing defense. So I don't know. Like, I have a hard time understanding what they're doing here. Like, Mike Budenholzer wins you a ring, then you give him the axe after a first-round exit last season, but then you hire a career assistant. He's 17 games over 500 in his first year as a head coach, and you fire him. And then the first name we hear as a replacement is Doc freaking Rivers. Like, I mean, I don't know, dude. It just seems weird to me.
I'm glad you brought that up because, when the Cavs did this, Tyronn Lue was the assistant.
Right.
And so that was probably a situation where LeBron and the guys liked that guy better. They immediately, I forget the guy's name, Joe Mazzulla or Joe something, who they promoted to the interim.
Right.
That's another thing. Doc Rivers' name kind of dispels that aspect of it too, where it's like, no, it's not like they just wanted to promote. They want to bring in a completely separate thing. I mean, you remember when Kyrie got the Nets to hire Steve Nash off the couch? He was like, that's who I want to coach me, Steve Nash. And they were like, all right, yeah, we'll do it. And obviously it sucked. So it's fascinating. And like I said, what's funny is the Bucks, as stupid as this situation is, there's a very real chance the Bucks win the NBA championship this year. They're that good. They have the pieces.
John Neighbors could coach the Bucks, and they'd have a chance to win the NBA championship.
Right, John Neighbors, his defensive schemes are underrated though, so it's
actually
a little different.
I mean, he's not here right now. You think he's like on a phone interview? That
is interesting that the Bucks job comes available, and all of a sudden we can't find John Neighbors.
The man just disappears. So yeah,
wasn't on the gambling show yesterday. Interesting.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting.
But Curtis, I'm excited about the NBA. I think there's a lot of interesting storylines. Like, this is just one of 20. Like, all the top teams, there's a lot of parity. And, people used to complain about that so much when the Warriors were cooking. Like, oh, there's no parity in the NBA. Like, as if people actually care about that stuff. Like, It's a fake thing because there's no parity right now and nobody cares.
Yeah, come on,
But I think people should care because the NBA is really fun. It's wide open. As wide open as I've ever remembered it being in my time as an NBA fan. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Love it. One beer down. On to the next. Man, poor Tyler Bass. You know who that is. You know that name, right? Buffalo Bills kicker. You know the name because he's the guy who missed wide right on that potential game-tying field goal against the Chiefs over the weekend in the playoffs. Andrew, I can tell you with firsthand experience that the citizens of Buffalo can be incredibly, incredibly harsh. Feel free to Google Curtis Wilkerson Buffalo to find out why I know that.
Seriously, do that. By the way, seriously do that, and you'll find it. It's pretty fascinating.
It's worthwhile. Tough few days in my life, but anyway, Tyler Bass, like, this dude has essentially like received enough death threats and hate that he shut down all of his social media accounts. Twitter gone, Instagram gone. They've really been getting after him. I'm sure it was like definitely PTSD related for the Bills fans who remember that missed kick that cost them the Super Bowl. When was it? 91.
One of the 4 straight that they went to or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's wild, and that's kind of the ugly side of this. Whatever. But I was at least happy to see that the 10 Lives Club. It's like one of those no-kill rescue shelters for animals, like cats or dogs, where like you take them in, and a lot of those places you take them and if they don't get adopted or whatever after so long, they just euthanize them, and that's a wrap. But they don't do this here, so that's cool. But they've raised $100,000 in Tyler Bass's honor because they
credit
feel
to the
bad
local
for the
pound
guy.
for stepping up and helping the kicker.
I mean, shit, he's still getting paid, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, he's just, like, his feelings are hurt, So I don't know, but I guess money would make me feel better. And they're also, like, encouraging fans to donate $22 in recognition of his number 2 jersey.
By the way, if you're a Bills fan and you're donating to that fund, you're an absolute idiot, dude. Do not pay money to your kicker who missed a kick.
Right.
Do not do that. But hey,
he's a nice guy. He just didn't do his job in this case.
Right. Now we're supposed to feel bad for him. Like, I get it. Don't send death threats to him. There's a middle ground there. You don't have to send him money or death threats. You can just not do anything. You can just not have a relationship with your team's kicker. That's what you should do. But I will say, Curtis, I love that in the NFL, kickers are like the one thing that never change. Like, quarterbacks will move, receivers. Kickers, when they get on a team, they stay on that team. Like, Harrison Butker is going to be the kicker for the Chiefs forever. Kaimi Fairbairn's the Texans kicker. He's been the Texans kicker about a decade now. Tyler Bass has been there at Buffalo forever. So it's like the good kickers just kind of end up becoming synonymous with teams. And if you're lucky, you're Adam Vinatieri and you win rings with 2 different teams. But it's kind of funny because Tyler Bass is just one of those guys where he's the Bills kicker. And so it's like for the rest of my life, I will always be like, oh, Bills kicker. So it's funny to see his name in like and look, I have no idea what Tyler Bass's career stats are. I just know he's kept his job this whole time.
Yes.
So I'd assume he's somewhat,
okay at it. Yeah.
He's somewhat consistent, but I kind of love that about the NFL. And like, we think back with Arkansas, because that's what we're paid to cover is Arkansas. I think of Arkansas has had such a wide range where it's like the kickers are either one of the most popular people on the fan base or the least popular. It's very rare that
It's valid.
You never have a kicker that stays in that middle range where it's like, we kind of like our kicker. Sometimes he misses. Like, fan bases either gravitate and go all in like they do with Cam Little, who's an awesome kicker for the Hogs, or you're Alex Tejada, who they really didn't like.
Who's the guy for Arkansas next year? I mean, is it Vito Calvaruso, a.k.a. Jimmy Witt?
Yeah, I mean, look, we love Vito. We love Vito, and when there was nothing more satisfying than that one. I don't remember what game it was, the home game, when we realized that Vito was back on the team, and we were like, wait a minute, Vito's back. I would love for Vito. It didn't go well for him at Wisconsin as a place kicker, but we'll see. But like we've said with Arkansas, it seems like they always have a really good kicker like every 3 or 4 years, and so maybe we'll have to wait till 2027. But Arkansas should have a generational kicker coming soon.
Love it. 2 beers down, on to the third. Listen, I'm excited about this one, okay? I've got 2 questions for you.
Okay.
1, did you know that team managers in college basketball, they oftentimes play against each other the night before the actual teams play?
I knew this is a thing, and I feel like across sports, it might not be unanimous, but I felt like I knew this was a thing a little bit. Like I've never participated in it, never had the privilege of being able to cover said event, but I've heard about stuff like this happening, and I'm all for it.
Okay. Secondly, did you know that Arkansas's managers are actually really good at it?
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, does Brewer get to play?
He does not.
Okay, he's not a manager.
I think it's managers. I think that some of the GAs might play too, but I don't think it extends to the full staff. Okay. This is incredible, dude. They have a website with schedules, records, and national rankings for the manager games. Okay?
I mean, dude, I love that. I really love that.
It's crazy. Arkansas is number 7 in the country right now. They're 4-1. Okay? I've got their schedule right here. Like, this is absurd to me.
Who they got next? What's our next target?
The next target. Okay, well, let me give you the schedule first, and then I'll give you the next target, because this is going to excite you. All right, Arkansas, they actually lost their opener. The managers did to Old Dominion, 66-62. ODU got them. Okay, then they beat UNC Greensboro. I'm glad somebody with that plays Arkansas basketball did that.
Arkansas went 1-1 in that matchup.
Exactly, they beat them 87-78. So some scoring there. So they got some scoring punch. Okay, then they beat.
What minute?
Tulsa.
Are they playing 12-minute quarters? What the heck is that?
I don't know. See that? I don't know. I don't know how long
That's
this
a lot
goes.
of scoring.
Okay. They beat Tulsa, and so they played Tulsa when the Hogs were there to play OU.
Gotcha.
And so I don't know why they didn't play OU, but they played Tulsa, beat them 77-68, and they got to 2-1. They got a huge road win at Florida a couple weeks ago, beat them 76-75 in a nail biter. Then they beat South Carolina last weekend 70-61. Okay, so
a lot of games Arkansas did not win that the managers did win.
I mean, how about that? Okay, and so they've got 1 loss. They're number 7 in the country in these manager games. Next up, Friday night, Kentucky, who is 6-0 and number 1 in the country. We got a top 10 matchup. College Game Day is coming to town, and I think that we're burying the lead by not covering the manager game, which, by the way, I've thrown it out there to the staff and let them know that if they want coverage of these manager games, Natty State Sports is all over it. And there is at least a level of interest in getting that done. Just throwing it out there.
I'm all in. You've sold me. I'm ready to do it. So they play the night before the games is what they do?
They'll play Friday night.
I'm excited for that. That'll be interesting. Yeah. We'll see what these Kentucky managers are all about. And honestly, if the managers get the job done, probably not good news for Arkansas.
As this is probably true. It's probably true.
Well, hey, I'm down there. If they let us in the building, whoever's listening, let us in the building. We'll support.
I had to do a little bit of I was digging, trying to get some inside information, trying to see like who's
well, thank
the guy,
God they have
who's
a
the
website.
bucket.
Thank God they have a website that pretty much details everything. Apparently,
exactly. But I needed stats. Like I need to know who the guy is, who's the go-to guy for the Arkansas managers team. I'm told graduate assistant Tony Hall is a bucket.
Well, I guess we'll find out this weekend.
And it's interesting because I'm also told that back in the day, I don't know if he still participates, but Riley Hall.
I was about to say, does Riley Hall play?
I don't think he plays now, but he used to. And from the sounds of it, he was very much a three-point line to three-point line guy, and he was just chucking the 30-footers.
Okay, so, I was thinking he's tall. What is he, like 6'3", 6'4"?
Oh, dude, he's taller than me. Like he's got to be like 6'6" at least.
I was like dude, he should be a post presence.
I agree.
Yeah.
But
work on your post game, Riley. What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing,
man?
Like he's stretching the floor a little bit. Hey, and if he's making them,
Riley Vanover, man, what are we doing?
So he's more of a trail big than a rim runner, I think, is what we're looking at here. So we'll have to talk to him about that and see what's going on there. But that fascinates me, dude. I would love to just infiltrate that game and just watch because a lot of those guys probably played college ball at some level. or at the very least, you
Well,
know,
that's-
good
that's
high
what you
school
get the
players or
worst.
whatever. You know,
The worst is when you go to a like pickup gym or just like an open run anywhere, and there's a guy there who played basketball at a semi-high level. Like I remember going to hoop at Louisiana College in my hometown, and there would be like a guy come in and he's like, "Oh yeah, I used to hoop in Turkey." And it's like, all right, well yeah, of course you're gonna cook us. Like I'm 14, man. I just want to get some run in, man. Like of course you could beat us. That's the worst. So I bet that sucks in the manager games, and you have the guy who like was the 9th man on an actual college team. It's like, yeah, of course you're going to cook us. You know?
Right.
Like Mark Titus is a guy who is a walk-on. Like if Mark Titus showed up to these things, he'd be cooking. So
he'd eat. Oh yeah.
But
he'd eat.
you got me really excited. I want to go to that game Friday night for sure.
It would be an absolute blast. We're halfway through the 6-pack. Moving on. This is interesting. MLB Hall of Fame. Okay, so they released their class for I guess 2024 yesterday. 3 guys got in. Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer. They were both first times on the ballot. Todd Helton on his 6th attempt. Those are the 3. What do you think about those 3 guys? I know you're a big baseball guy. I absolutely loved Adrian Beltre. Like that was my dude.
Well, he's one of the funniest players. You remember and like look, I hated the Rangers always.
Right.
But the Rangers were always on TV when I was a kid in my hometown. So it's like I would always see him, and you remember they would always try to like mess with him, his teammates. They'd like try to put stuff on his head or whatever. And he also like had to have broken a record for home run or hits where he would go to a knee. You know, you see in baseball where like the player gets fooled by the breaking ball and they go to a knee and have Adrian Beltre would go to a knee and then somehow keep his weight back and be able to hit the ball and hit it with authority. He would hit like doubles in the gap from a knee, man. He was unreal and awesome third baseman, awesome player. I read yesterday, Joe Mauer is 40 years old, by the way. So it's like he's not only finished his career, served his 5 years, to be in the Hall of Fame by 40, I feel like it doesn't happen that often, right?
That's impressive. Yeah, Mauer was a lot of fun too.
Dude, the Twins teams like were pretty fun back in the day. When he used to play with Torrey Hunter, Arkansas guy.
Torrey Hunter was that
Justin
dude.
Morneau, who won the home run derby over Josh Hamilton in a controversial fashion. But those Twins teams were fun. And Joe Mauer, former cover athlete of MLB The Show. Who was the third? Oh, Todd Helton. Todd Helton, did he go to Tennessee? We got an SEC,
I think that's
SEC
Tennessee.
baseball
he's definitely an
representation.
SEC guy. I think it was Tennessee.
I think he was Tennessee as well. Todd Helton was really good. Now, played in Colorado. Do we count those stats? Do we count them?
Sure.
80%?
Yeah, why not?
Give him 80%?
I loved a lot of those guys on those teams. Like Todd Helton was the man. Big Larry Walker guy. I loved Larry Walker. So yeah, no, I think we can count those. I'm down for it. He served, but he served his sentence for playing in Colorado. Like it took him 6 years, 6 attempts to get in. They let him in.
Did it really take him 6 attempts?
Yes, it was 6
I did not realize he had
attempt
been done playing that long, man.
I know.
Todd Helton's a big dude.
Yeah.
But man, the Baseball Hall of Fame, it's good. All 3 of those guys deserving candidates. Like I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. I think and look, I understand steroids, not good. We shouldn't be doing steroids. I'm all for that. I'm not pro steroids, but let's grow up and let the good players in. I mean, how do you have a Baseball Hall of Fame where the best player in your sport's existence is not in the Hall of Fame?
Correct.
And so it's like Barry Bonds. Sure, yeah. If we take away the steroids, sure, he maybe only hits 550 home runs. Maybe he only wins 3 or 4 MVPs. Maybe
his head stays normal size.
Yeah, maybe his on base percent. Maybe he would have only been intentionally walks with the bases loaded a few times instead of like every other week. There was that one year where like if you took away his intentional walks, he still would have led the league in OBP or something. Like something.
That's absurd.
The Barry Bonds. Like one day I'll just rant. Barry Bonds. I understand steroids bad, but dude. Best baseball player ever, and he coached hitting for a while too, at a really high levels. It's like the guy clearly. Anytime you hear him talk about hitting, the guy knows how to hit.
Yeah,
he's as good. I mean, he was going to be a great baseball player, a Hall of Fame level player, no matter what. And also, everybody was doing steroids, so it's like understand if we're going to draw the line, then then let's just draw the line and say nobody from 1990 whatever to 2005 can make the Hall of Fame.
That was
Albert
the most
Pujols,
exciting
David
era.
Ortiz, like all these guys, none of them can make the Hall of Fame. Because like let's all grow up and act like all these guys weren't taking some type of substances, whether it was intentional or not. Like, I mean,
what sent me from being a casual baseball fan as a kid to being a diehard Major League Baseball fan, I still am to this day, was '98. McGuire Sosa, the home run chase. Like there was nothing better than that. I don't give a damn what they were taking. Dude, they could have been snorting a line of Coke and then going up there, like snorting it off of the
hitting
batter's
those
box.
triple deck home runs, man. Like that's
dude, come on,
I
man.
miss the days when the baseball players looked like what was that video game that had like the
Slugfest, MLB Slugfest. Yeah,
I miss the days when the baseball players looked like that. Like Mark McGwire was just like juiced to the gills, man. Like that was awesome. Fun fact: I want to give my dad a shout out. I always talk about how me and my dad have I mean, we're Arkansas. We grew up covering or cheering for Arkansas, so we have horrible luck. My dad also was a St. Louis Cardinals fan at one point. He went to a game to see Mark McGwire late in his career, and he got hurt in that game trying to lay down a bunt, and he never played again. my dad saw the end of Mark McGwire's career, which is funny because now his son has a jersey collection that includes Karl Malone, rapist, Deshaun Watson, rapist. Who else do I have? Oh, I have a James Harden jersey who's not a rapist, but he requested a trade right afterwards. Like my
likes
jersey,
those lemon pepper wings, if you know what I'm saying.
I was going to say something very inappropriate. I'm glad I didn't do it. Credit to me for holding restraint there. Point is, in an MLB Hall of Fame, good. Let the good players in. Let's have the best players in our sports history be celebrated. Okay.
Agreed. A couple things here. Billy Wagner, who was awesome closer. I feel bad. He was
the ballot.
This is his last opportunity here. He was 1.2% short of making the cut, so that's 5 votes. He missed getting in the Hall of Fame by 5 votes. Gary Sheffield, 10th and final time on the ballot. You got to get 75% of the votes. He got 63.9%. So Gary Sheffield is not going to be a Hall of Famer.
Dude, what are y'all doing if y'all aren't voting for Gary Sheffield in the Hall of Fame? I guess he did steroids too, right?
I'm sure.
Dude, if we can't let Gary Sheffield in the Hall of Fame, then why are we even having a Hall of Fame, dude? No, who else? Everybody when they were a kid was doing that, man. By the way, I have it pulled up right here looking at Billy Wagner. So you didn't have to get 75% to get in. So Billy Wagner's first year in 2016, he got 10.5%. And then he got up 2019, he bumped up to 16.7, and then 31.7, 46.4, 51, 68, and then this year 73.8. He was climbing, dude. I don't know what happened if his PR team just went to work, but he was climbing, man. He was climbing.
Okay.
Let's give him one more year.
So here are the other guys who got a lot of votes but came up short. I think they still got other opportunities to get on the ballot. So I'm going to throw them to you here rapid fire, and you just tell me yes or no. Should be a Hall of Famer or eh. All right? Andrew Jones.
Oh, easy Hall of Famer. I went and watched him hit 2 home runs at Turner Field back in the day.
He was so
easy,
fun.
and he spells his name stupid, but
also true.
Good, great player.
Andrew with a U.
And his son was just the number 2 overall pick, Drew Jones.
Oh, there you go.
DRUW Jones.
Okay. Carlos Beltran.
No, not a Hall of Famer.
Not a Hall of Famer?
That guy sucks. Not a Hall of Famer.
Well, I like him because he wound up being a Cardinal for a World Series run. But, Hall of Fame.
By the way, the first Astros game I ever went to was the year Carlos Beltran was playing for the Mets. And I was like 7. And I remember they were chanting. He had just signed with the Mets. And like back then, I really don't remember what was going on. But I remember like they made a big deal. They were like, everybody, we need to flash money at him and like make fun of him for selling out and all this. And so like I did it. And I was like, yeah, screw that guy. Pedro Martinez pitched that day for the Mets. He was like 53 years old. But I just remember those were one of the first baseball players I discovered. And I was like, I hate Carlos Beltran. And since then, always hated Carlos Beltran.
Love it. A-Rod.
Easy. I mean, dude, I don't even like A-Rod. Yeah. Easy Hall of Famer, dude. Yeah. What are you talking about?
He's unreal.
I mean, I would say one of the top 5 talents of the last 30 years. Sure. Easily. I mean, he was, and I mean, the resume is there. Hooked up with J-Lo. I mean,
yeah, I mean, he should get they should create a separate Hall of Fame just for that.
The fact that he was with J-Lo tells you how good he was because he's a complete dweebsicle, man. You heard him talk like he's not a smooth talker,
right.
He looks cool. Like if you before you hear him talk, you're like, oh, that guy's awesome. You hear him talk and he's like, it's just
exactly.
A-Rod is all time. Voice does not match the body.
Facts. Yeah. Manny Ramirez.
Easy
Absolutely.
Hall of Famer.
That's another guy that's
Hall of Famer,
so much fun.
Curtis, let me ask you this. So, like, do you find yourself, or like growing up, gravitating when there's a huge rivalry in sports that has no impact on you at all? Like Red Sox, Yankees. Do you kind of find yourself gravitating to one side or the other?
Yeah, Red Sox.
I'm Red Sox. Yeah. I always cheer for Duke over North Carolina. I don't know what it is.
There.
You're the opposite. Yeah, I've always hated North Carolina, and them beating Arkansas 20 times didn't help.
That's fair.
Bama, I always cheer for Bama over Auburn. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Ohio State over Michigan, I've always been. I think you like them. Okay. Yeah. I for some reason, I don't know what it is. It's just when you're a kid, sometimes you just feel one way or the other.
Pick a side on this.
The Red Sox were also really cool when I was growing up. So it's like Manny Ramirez, like that time whenever he caught the fly ball and then like ran up the wall and still threw the guy out or whatever. It was awesome, man. And
it's crazy.
And he had so many moments with the Red Sox. Yeah. Like, and I mean, resume, like whatever your criteria is for Hall of Fame, whether it's resume, whether it's longevity, whether it's cool moments, team success, individual success.
Check.
Manny checks every single box, and he was cool as hell.
Yes.
Put him in the freaking Hall of Fame. What are we doing?
Handful of other ones, and I think it gets interesting here. Chase Utley.
No.
Okay, I kind of agree.
Chase Utley. I don't want to talk about Chase Utley. Go ahead.
Come on, man. Omar Vizquel.
I don't even vaguely. I don't know off the top of my head his resume, so I'm going to go no, considering that.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about Vizquel, it's tough. I think that's kind of where you get into the argument of like, is Yeti or Molina a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I think Yadier is.
I think he is because he's maybe arguably the greatest catcher of all time. Didn't have much behind the plate. Vizquel, I just remember he was such a wizard with the glove at shortstop, but I don't know if he ever hit a baseball. I have no idea.
Well, and the reason why you can't do that now, so like Ozzie Smith from the Cardinals back in the days. Now, back in the day, you could really get away with stuff like that.
Right. Nowadays,
if you're a shortstop that can't hit, they send you to the sun. So it's like, I think in the future, if we let these guys in the Hall of Fame, in years when Carlos Correa is up on the ballot and he's hitting like 290 for his career, and we're like, no, he can't make it to the Hall of Fame. It's like, So I think nowadays it's kind of, and catchers, I'm sure there will be a time in 2075 where every catcher hits 290 with a freaking 855 OPS.
Sure.
But I think if you start letting those shortstops that don't hit in now, like, it's going to end up aging poorly. So
yeah,
which by the way I'm okay with, but
yeah, Bobby Abreu.
No,
he was fun though. He
was
not a Hall of Famer,
fun, but I don't think Hall
of
Fame though.
Right? Jimmy Rollins.
Jimmy Rollins is very fringe. Like,
yeah,
did he win a ring?
I think so.
With the Phillies, they won
him,
a ring.
Utley, who was Ryan Howard?
That team was Chase Utley as well. I would prefer Rollins over Chase Utley, and that's just gut feel. I don't have their resumes in front of me. I like Rollins a lot, but I think he's kind of fringe.
Did Rollins win an MVP?
Maybe if he did, then I'll give him the nod. Like if he won an MVP and a ring, and he had the longevity, and like
why not? He was really good. Last one, a pitcher, Andy Pettitte.
Yeah, Andy Pettitte's a Hall of Famer, man. Andy Pettitte was awesome.
Yeah, he was the man.
Yeah. I like Andy Pettitte. Andy Pettitte, I think Mariano Rivera taught him his cutter. I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's a good guy to learn it from.
Right,
so.
Quite the guy to learn it from. But I'm pretty sure Andy Pettitte, as soon as he got with the Yankees, just spent 1 week with Mariano and learned his cutter.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, Andy Pettitte, Hall of Famer.
Cool. Okay, that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Fifth beer. We're almost through the six pack here. I want to let you take this one. Tristan Thompson.
I have to pull up the name of what the substance is that Tristan Thompson got caught with.
I've got it.
Okay, you've got it. Well, Tristan Thompson, as we know, likes to cheat. And when we say he likes to cheat, I mean he has publicly cheated on his spouse, Kourtney Kardashian, more times than any of us can count. He's funny because he's not a great athlete, wouldn't say, but he was boys with LeBron, same age, and so he's getting paid like $30 million a year. We talk about star players having too much power. LeBron convinced the Cavs to give Tristan Thompson 4 years, $150 million or something.
Yeah.
Back when that was actually a lot of money. Nowadays that's chump change. But Tristan Thompson has been caught cheating on his spouse a ton, a ridiculous amount, on camera, on audio. They've got him on every type of way. Well, he has now been suspended 25 games by the National Basketball Association. What is this substance that he took, Curtis?
Okay, yeah. So it's not, illicit drugs or whatever. The man's on HGH. He literally got popped for an actual PED. It's called ibuprofen. Ibuprofen.
Got him on that ibuprofen, man, huh?
Yeah, and so it's literally a growth hormone. And so there he is. And it's interesting, he can travel with the team. He can practice, but he can't be in the arena within 2 hours of the start of a game until March 16th. It's he can do all those things, but
that's
he can't
as stupid
be in
as
the arena
Michigan having that kid that can play at home games but can't play on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Right, the kid from Michigan. It's crazy.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, now we know that Tristan Thompson's not going to make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Nor should
exactly.
he, but been disqualified now.
Shame.
For instance, Curtis, if right now LeBron popped 25 games PED, whatever it is, whatever the substance is, the ibuprofen that he took, would we not let LeBron would we not put LeBron in the Hall of Fame?
People would argue that.
They would.
But people would argue the hell out of it.
Well, in the Basketball Hall of Fame, they let everybody in. They let freaking Reggie Miller in the Hall of Fame. And I love Reggie Miller. I love Reggie Miller. Go look at Reggie Miller's stats and tell me that he isn't Wesley Matthews with a little bit better PR team. I love Reggie Miller. Awesome player. And I'm okay with him being in the Hall of Fame because it's called the Hall of Fame and he's famous. But I'm also kind of team let everyone, pretty much everyone in almost. The criteria I think should be if you can't tell a story of that sport without this guy or just the league, I feel like you got to have him in there. And Reggie Miller, I'm good with him being in the Hall of Fame because you can't really tell the story of the 90s of the NBA or the 80s, those Pacers teams. I mean, so many playoff runs. I don't think you can do it without them, and so I'm okay with that. But I feel that same way about all those baseball guys we just mentioned. But Tristan Thompson, not a Hall of Famer. Can't confirm.
Not a Hall of Famer. Sorry, it's over. Okay,
Also, LeBron has been taking PEDs, so like if we're drawing the line, like I love LeBron, but
yeah, I mean, come on. You don't get to that age and still be able to do the things he does. It's unreal. I mean, he takes care of his body, but come on, man.
And like credit to him,
Taco
but it's
Tuesday
like,
ain't doing this for you.
Well, and that's the thing is like that's why a lot of these dudes take PEDs. Everybody views steroids as like, oh, they're trying to get strong so they can hit homers.
Yeah.
You know, you talk to the MMA guys, they're all like, dude, I just take steroids so I can train, so I can still work out and not hate myself afterwards. You know.
Right.
But
last brew of the 6-pack here. I'm hitting you with something unprompted. You didn't know this was coming, but I'm gonna tell you a story, and then I want to get your response to this. Okay. So I was doing a little reading, light reading. This happened in India. Okay, but I got a good laugh out of it. There's a young lady. Okay, her name is Paramjit Kaur. I looked this up, okay? Whatever, young lady. She had recently failed a recruitment exam. So it's like one of those like prereq things you have to take to become a healthcare worker over there. I don't know if she's trying to be a nurse or whatever. She took the exam. She failed it, okay? So what she did is she had her boyfriend. His name was Angrez Singh. Shave his face, put on makeup, grow his hair out, and dress in drag to impersonate her and go retake the test for her. He even went so far as to forge her voter ID, okay, and her Aadhaar card, which is basically like their equivalent of a Social Security card. That way he could get in, get registered, and go for and take the exam. So eventually, like the exam officials or whatever, they noticed that the face on the ID card didn't match the one that was submitted on the initial application when she reapplied. And so since they both committed forgery, both of them were arrested, and they're both up on charges. The beauty of it is the dude actually failed the exam too. Okay, so that's the best
awesome.
part about all this. But I ask you, Andrew, because you're swimming in the seas of young love with Miss Hillary. I'm sure you'd do anything in the world for her. But would you dress up like a drag queen and impersonate her if she needed you to take a test for her that she couldn't pass?
I would do it, Curtis.
Okay.
I would definitely sign up to do it. I would do anything for Hillary, but I will say I would make it clear right away that I know that it's not. I mean, the fact that you just read it, I was kind of smiling at the beginning of the story because I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But I was like, the fact that he knows about this means it didn't go well. It means that he. So that would probably be the issue. I would work through the logistics. But hey, if Hillary, I do a lot of stupid stuff that Hillary tells me to. So yeah, I'd probably do it.
Okay, I respect that. I respect you for that. I think that's a very genuine sign.
Who among
of
us
your
wouldn't
affection.
take an exam in drag for the one we love? Who wouldn't? You know.
We'll talk to Scotty about it. We'll see.
Yeah.
I feel like he might do it.
Let's just act like Scotty's not sitting in this room.
Exactly. He's been trying to make me crack with some of the things he's been showing me on his phone while I'm trying to keep a straight face over here. So I've been poker facing it
Did
pretty
titties
good,
almost get you? He almost got me with that one too. I started laughing when he showed me.
Oh man, we're through the 6-pack.
We're
Got
through the
anything else?
6-pack. I do.
Okay.
Not really. I mean, I don't have a ton of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
One, Arkansas's losing tonight. Let's just go ahead and get that out there.
Yeah,
Like,
man, I don't feel good about it.
The spread started at 4.5 and immediately jumped up. It's at 6 now, maybe even 6.5 some places.
I didn't know that.
I said it. I mean, we have a teaser here. We got a bold predictions and prop bets piece. I don't know if it's out yet or if it's coming out.
Getting there.
It's getting there. I think this game's
Waiting on
going to
you,
be
John.
another. I predicted the A&M game to be like ugly, one of those like 66, 62 type of games. It looked like it probably should have been until things got off the rails and Arkansas gave up 50 in the second half. I think this game's going to be ugly, and I think Ole Miss, if you look at their scoring, they're so high variance. Like they have games where they've scored 58. They have games where they've scored 98. And I'm talking about against quality competition. Like two weeks ago, they scored like 93 against somebody. And then they come back and they lose, and their scoring is all over
They
the
scored
place.
over 100 on Florida, I think.
Also, their tempo is like in the 220s, 230s range. Like they're not a fast tempo team. Their offensive efficiency though is top 50 according to KenPom. That's a little bit of fool's gold. I feel like they're a slow team that is kind of overachieved offensively a little bit.
They shoot it really well from three, but they don't shoot a ton of them.
Yeah, and it's like I just feel like they're a little bit unsustainable, and I feel like Arkansas also. I'm not expecting Arkansas to play well in this game or to play connected or any of that, but I do expect the effort to at least pretend to be there early. And so we always talk about can Arkansas take a punch. I think Arkansas will at least be in the game early, and so I think I could see it being like 27-23 at half, like type of thing.
I'd be okay with that.
And then Arkansas ends up kind of losing like 68-61 type of thing. But I think Arkansas, I predicted them to hold Ole Miss under 70. I think they can accidentally do it. They'll accidentally do it.
I think Ole Miss could accidentally hold themselves under 70.
That's kind of where what I said, but I was going to give Arkansas the credit there. You know,
I like that.
But Curtis, again, it's funny. We didn't really talk too much about these topics. Like when I walked in and saw anything for Love Andrew, I just assumed
I think I knew where you thought this was going.
Yeah, I thought you were queuing me up for Down for Love. I texted Curtis at like 10:30 last night, and I was like, dude, I got to talk about Down for Love on the Six Pack. It's the best show ever, Curtis. Like I'm not saying, I'm like look,
I got to get on board, man.
We will pitch movies and TV here on this show every now and then. I'm not saying like this is like as a pretentious guy of like, oh, you got to check out this film that I like. Not Down for Love. Well, that's a show as well, but Love on the Spectrum is the show. Season 2 just came out. If you haven't heard of it, here's the premise. It is they get people on the spectrum of autism, some very far, some a little bit on the spectrum, some kind of in between, and they put them on dates. They try to match them up, and they get them to, try to find love with other people on the spectrum. And it's one of those shows that just makes you feel good about being a human a little bit. Yeah. It's like, we consume so much content that is like, I mean, you hear, jackasses like me and Curtis talking about stuff, and you think like the world is ugly. Watch Love on the Spectrum. It really is. It'll make you smile so much. You can watch it with your spouse.
Right? I mean,
it's very well. Yeah, I mean, it's on Netflix. A bunch of people have been watching it. So, I mean, I'm sure some of these people have been watching, but you can watch it with your spouse, watch it with your kids, watch it with your whoever. Like it'll just make you feel really good. Funny as hell too. Like there's moments that'll like make you cringe because again, it's people on the spectrum going on dates. Sure. So every now and then you get the first dates where they don't know what they want to talk about. But I mean, it's human, it's real life, it's authentic, and it really is it's fun to watch like the families rally around them too. But could not recommend this show more. I've got 2 episodes left of season 2. Season 1 was awesome. There's also, I mentioned Down for Love. Those are Down syndrome people in Australia. That they do the same premise though, but really fun stuff. Curtis, you and Michelle got to get on that.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think we might do that. You've been talking about it for a while now, so I think it's time. I think
it
is
time. Season 2, it came out I guess like last week, so now I'm really back all in on it, and Love on the Spectrum. Everybody check that out. Awesome.
I think we're good here, man. 6-pack down.
Yeah, 6-pack down, and it's not even noon.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
if
we're
you can get through a 6-pack
so.
Before noon, I guess this is going to come out at noon, so I guess no one's going to be able to do that. But
who
have
a 6-pack while you listen,
right?
Or if you're at the end of it here and you just got the idea, then have a 6-pack right after you listen. Whatever you want to do.
And if this one didn't do it for you, we'll be back Friday.
That's right.
And again, send us whatever you want us to talk about. If you want us to talk about your son's t-ball tournament, we will if you DM us and let us know and give us the stats. We talked about a manager basketball game.
Exactly. So, we had somebody send a message about like the other teams in Arkansas, like maybe some of the smaller schools that are doing well. Like I think there's a JUCO team in the state that's #1 in the country or something. I'm gonna do my research about it and we'll talk about it. Yeah, absolutely. So keep sending that
Arkansas
stuff.
State does. I don't know what they've been doing lately, but I know that their first year head coach, second year?
The assistant from Bama, he's doing a good job.
He's doing a good job, man. I'm excited to see what the Red Wolves do moving forward.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're out of here. It's been fun.
We are out of here.
Natty State Six Pack. Check us out on YouTube. We're also going to be in those podcast feeds, Amazon, Apple, maybe Spotify. We'll see. If we're not on there yet, we will be. So
make sure you download every episode.
Yeah, download them all.
I will just clarify, downloading and listening are not the same thing.
That is also true. NattyStateSports.com. We got some written content that's coming out now. So, hey, listen, we're getting bigger and better every day. So we're looking forward to continuing to do that. And we'll be back with you guys on Friday. It's been Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, Natty State Sports. We'll catch you later.